President Ji-hoon Baek walked into the Galactic Council chamber like he owned it. In many ways he did. The massive amphitheater that had once voted to banish humanity now waited for his arrival. Every alien representative stood as he entered. Some out of respect, others out of fear, all of them because they had no choice. Ji-hoon took his seat at the head of the council table. The chair had been specially made for him, larger than the others, positioned where everyone could see it, carved from rare earth wood that cost more than most ships. "The emergency session will now begin," announced the new council speaker. She was human, of course. The old speaker had been quietly retired after the war. "First order of business," Ji-hoon said, his voice carrying easily through the chamber. "Restructuring Federation Military Command." Admiral Sang-hoon. Oh stood at attention beside the president's chair. His uniform was crisp, his posture perfect, his expression unreadable. "Admiral Oh will serve as Supreme Commander of all Federation Defense Forces," Ji-hoon continued. "All military decisions will require his approval." Murmurs rippled through the alien delegates. The Vasari representative raised a tentacle. "Mr. President, what about our own military commanders? They will report to Admiral Oh. Any questions about the chain of command?" There were no questions. The war had made it very clear who had the superior military. Trade Minister Hyo-jin Kwon was next to speak. She was younger than most government officials, but her economic policies had already transformed Federation commerce. "New trade regulations are now in effect," she announced. "All major trade routes will be managed through human stations. We're implementing a new currency system based on Earth standards." The Alteran delegate looked confused. "What about our existing trade agreements?" "Void," Hyo-jin replied simply. "You'll need to renegotiate with human trade representatives. I'm sure we can reach mutually beneficial arrangements." Everyone understood what that meant. The aliens would accept whatever terms humanity offered, or they would be cut out of galactic trade entirely. Ambassador Yeon-soo Park watched the proceedings with satisfaction. She had replaced Hyun-woo Kim as Earth's chief diplomat, but her job was very different from his. Hyun-woo had begged for acceptance. Yeon-soo dictated terms. "The hegemony delegation has requested a private audience," her aide whispered. "Schedule it for tomorrow, after the Zephyrian apology ceremony." Yeon-soo had a busy schedule. Dozens of species wanted to meet with her, each hoping to secure favorable treatment from humanity's new government. Some would be disappointed. Chief Scientist Do-yeon Kim was having the most fun of any human official. She stood before the Federation's greatest minds, explaining technologies they couldn't understand. "The quantum displacement drive operates on principles your physicists haven't discovered yet," she said to a room full of alien scientists. "We'd be happy to share some of our research in exchange for appropriate considerations." "What kind of considerations?" asked a Corvin researcher. "Full access to your historical databases, exclusive rights to your archaeological sites, and formal recognition that human science leads the galaxy." The aliens had no choice but to agree. Human technology was decades ahead of their own and falling behind further every day. But Do-yeon was careful not to share everything. Humanity's most advanced discoveries remained classified. Their true technological capabilities were still secret. The galaxy had seen enough to know humans were superior. They didn't need to know how superior. President Ji-hoon was reviewing reports when an aide brought disturbing news. "Sir, the Nexari are requesting admission to the Federation." Ji-hoon frowned. The Nexari were a warrior species from the Outer Rim. Their technology was primitive, but they were fierce fighters. Why do they want to join? "Our expansion into their territory, sir. They've seen what happened to species that opposed us." It was true. Humanity's hidden colonies had spread throughout the galaxy during the exile years. Most species had welcomed human presence once they saw the benefits. A few had not. Those few were no longer problems. "Schedule a meeting with their representatives," Ji-hoon decided. "But make them wait a few weeks first. Let them think about their decision." Historian Jongmin Lee was documenting everything for future generations. She interviewed government officials, military commanders, and ordinary citizens who had lived through humanity's transformation. "What was the turning point?" she asked Admiral Sang-hoon during one session. The moment they voted us out, he replied without hesitation. That's when we stopped trying to fit into their system and started building our own. Do you think they regret banishing us? Sang-hoon smiled. Oh, absolutely. But it's too late now. You can't unbake a cake. Jong-min recorded thousands of hours of interviews. The story of humanity's rise would inspire future generations and serve as a warning to anyone who might challenge human authority. The lesson was simple. Underestimating humanity was the last mistake you would ever make. Ambassador Yeon-soo was meeting with the Vasari trade delegation when the latest intelligence reports arrived. She read them quickly while the aliens waited. Problems? Asked the lead Vasari negotiator. Not problems. Opportunities. The Omega sector has 3 systems that want to join the Federation. That's wonderful news. Yes, it is. For us. Your trade monopoly in that sector is now ended. The Vasari delegate's scales changed color, a sign of distress. But we've operated there for centuries. And now you don't. Unless you'd prefer to discuss this with Admiral O instead of me. The mention of the Supreme Military Commander ended. All protests immediately. President Ji-hoon was preparing for the weekly council meeting when Chief of Staff Min-ho Park brought the final agenda. The new membership applications are ready for your review, he said. How many this time? 7 species, all offering significant resources in exchange for Federation protection. Ji-hoon scanned the list. Each species brought something valuable: rare minerals, advanced manufacturing, strategic locations, or large populations that could serve in human-led militaries. Accept them all, but make sure they understand the terms of membership. Full submission to human authority, full partnership, Ji-hoon corrected with a smile. We're all equals here. Some are just more equal than others. The council session that afternoon was routine. New members were accepted. Trade agreements were approved. Military budgets were allocated. Defense strategies were discussed. Everything proceeded smoothly because no one dared oppose humanity's decisions. The Zephyrian representative tried once to suggest modifications to a proposed regulation. Perhaps we could consider alternative approaches, he said carefully. The chamber fell silent. Everyone turned to look at President Ji-hoon. Alternative approaches, Ji-hoon repeated thoughtfully. Admiral O, what do you think of alternative approaches? Admiral Sang-hoon's expression never changed. I think our current approaches work very well, Mr. President. I agree. Motion carried as originally proposed. The Zephyrian delegate never spoke again during the session. As the meeting ended, Ji-hoon reflected on how far humanity had come. 3 years ago, they had been voted out of civilized space. Now they controlled it. The transformation hadn't happened by accident. Every step had been planned, every move calculated. Exile had freed humanity from alien rules and restrictions. The war had demonstrated human superiority. Now came the consolidation of power. But Ji-hoon wasn't satisfied yet. The galaxy was vast, and there were still species beyond the Federation's borders. Some were potential allies. Others were potential threats. All of them would eventually have to make a choice: accept human leadership or face human opposition. Ambassador Yeon-soo was thinking similar thoughts as she reviewed the day's diplomatic reports. Requests for meetings, trade proposals, military assistance applications. Everyone wanted humanity's favor. The Andromedans are requesting technology transfers, her aide reported. What are they offering in return? Mining rights to their entire home system. Not enough. Tell them we want exclusive military basing rights as well. And if they refuse? They won't. They can't afford to. It was true. No species could stand alone against human power. The choice was simple: submit willingly or be forced to submit later. Most chose the easy path. Historian Jong-min Lee was finishing her documentary when she interviewed an interesting subject. Former council speaker, Valdris the alien who had announced humanity's banishment 3 years ago. Do you regret the vote? She asked him. Valdris was quiet for a long time. We were afraid, he finally said. Humans were unpredictable, aggressive. We thought banishment would contain the threat. Instead, you freed us from all constraints. Yes, we gave you a reason to become everything we feared you could be. Any advice for species that might challenge human authority in the future? Valdris looked directly at the camera. Don't. You'll lose, and you'll lose everything. The documentary would be broadcast throughout Federation space. Its message was clear. Humanity's rise to power was inevitable. Resistance was futile. President Ji-hoon's final act of the day was approving the construction of humanity's greatest project yet. A ring of massive space stations around Earth, each one larger than most alien cities. The stations would serve multiple purposes: military bases, research facilities, diplomatic centers, and symbols of human power. Every species in the galaxy would see them. The war started on a Tuesday. Admiral Jae Young-song was eating breakfast when the emergency message arrived. He read it twice, then called his staff immediately. The Zephyrians and Alterans are shooting at each other, he announced. Full-scale warfare. The Federation is requesting immediate military assistance. His officers looked confused. Sir, we're banished. Why would they ask us for help? Because their own military is falling apart, Jae Young replied. And they're desperate. The Zephyrian-Altoran War had erupted without warning. Ancient grudges, territorial disputes, and trade disagreements had finally boiled over. Within days, the conflict had spread to involve 6 different species and threatened to tear the Federation apart. Council Speaker Valdris was having the worst week of his long career. Half the Federation fleet was destroyed. Entire systems were under attack. The economy was collapsing as trade routes were cut. We need help, he admitted to the emergency session of the council. Our forces are not enough. What about the reserve fleet? Asked the Vasari representative. Already deployed and losing badly. The Altorans have new weapons we don't understand. Emergency draft? It would take months to train new crews. We need experienced fighters now. The chamber fell silent. Everyone was thinking the same thing, but nobody wanted to say it. Finally, the Corvan delegate spoke up. What about the humans? The room erupted in protests, but Valdris raised his hand for silence. They have the largest experienced fleet outside the Federation, and they're available. We banished them. Yes, and now we need them back. Temporarily. The vote was close, but desperation won. The Federation would ask humanity for help. On Earth, President Dong-Ho Lee received the message with amusement. 3 years ago, these same aliens had voted to throw humanity out of civilized space. Now they wanted human help to save their civilization. What should we tell them? Asked his defense minister. That we're willing to discuss terms, Dong-Ho replied. Terms? Full reinstatement in the Federation, enhanced voting rights, war reparations, and a formal apology. They'll never agree to that. Dong-Ho smiled. Then they can fight their own war. The Federation's response came within hours. They agreed to everything. Admiral Jae Young gathered his fleet at the edge of Federation space. 200 ships of completely new design, carrying weapons and defenses the aliens had never seen. General Min Su-shin commanded the ground forces. His troops wore armor that made them nearly invulnerable and carried weapons that could punch through any known defense. Remember, Jae Young told his officers, we're here to end this war quickly. Show them what humans can do, but don't reveal all our capabilities. How much of our technology should we demonstrate? Asked his tactical officer. Just enough to win. Save the rest for later. The human fleet jumped into Federation space and immediately headed for the main battle zone. Alien commanders watched their approach with a mixture of hope and nervousness. Commander Sung-Ho An was the first human officer to engage enemy forces. His ship, the Soul's Revenge, faced a squadron of 12 Zephyrian destroyers. The aliens opened fire with everything they had. Quantum torpedoes, plasma cannons, and gravitic mines filled space with deadly energy. Sung-Ho's ship absorbed it all. Adaptive shielding holding at 98%, his engineer reported. Enemy weapons are actually making us stronger. Return fire. 1 shot per target. The Soul's Revenge fired 12 times. 12 Zephyrian ships disappeared in balls of superheated plasma. Human vessel, came a transmission from the Federation command ship. How did you destroy them so quickly? New weapons, Shung Ho replied casually. We had some time to upgrade while we were away. The battle lasted 3 hours instead of 3 weeks. Human forces demonstrated tactical innovations that made Federation military doctrine obsolete. Ships that became stronger when attacked. Troops that could fight in any environment. Weapons that adapted to enemy defenses. General Minsu's ground assault was even more impressive. His soldiers landed on the contested planet of Zerion Prime and ended a 6-month siege in 2 days. How many casualties? Asked the Federation commander. None, sir. Our armor is too good. The enemy couldn't hurt us. What about enemy losses? Minimal. We use non-lethal weapons mostly. The war's over, no point in unnecessary killing. Federation observers were amazed. Human soldiers had advanced through the heaviest enemy fire without losing a single person, then captured thousands of enemy troops without killing them. It was a display of military superiority that redefined what was possible. The Altaran High. Command surrendered within a week. The Zephyrian Empire followed 2 days later. The war that had threatened to destroy the Federation was over, but Admiral J. Young wasn't finished. We need to discuss the future, he told Council Speaker Valdris. This war happened because Federation military doctrine is 50 years out of date. What do you suggest? Let humans redesign your entire defense system. New ships, new tactics, new training programs. And in return, full partnership. Not membership. Partnership. Equal voice in all decisions. Valdris hesitated. Partnership meant humanity would have as much power as the rest of the Federation combined. The alternative, J. Young continued, is that we leave again, and next time there's a war, you face it alone. The vote was unanimous. Engineer Yunji Ro was amazed by how quickly things changed. One day she was working in secret underground labs on Earth. The next, she was standing in the Federation's most advanced research facility, teaching alien scientists how their own technology worked. Your quantum matrix design has fundamental flaws, she explained to a group of Vasari engineers. You're wasting 60% of the energy output. But this design has worked for centuries, one of them protested. Worked, yes, but not efficiently. Here, let me show you. Yunji made a few adjustments to their equipment. The power output doubled instantly. The Vasari engineers stared in shock. How did you know to do that? We studied your technology during our exile. Then we improved on it. Similar scenes were playing out across Federation space. Human experts were teaching alien scientists things they had never imagined. Medical techniques that could cure previously fatal diseases. Engineering solutions that doubled the efficiency of everything from starship engines to farming equipment. Commander Su-Young No had a different job. She was meeting with species that had supported humanity's banishment 3 years ago. The Corvin delegation is here, her aide announced. The Corvin ambassador entered nervously. His species had been among the loudest voices calling for humanity's exile. Commander No, he began, we want to apologize for our previous position. We were mistaken about humanity's intentions. Su-Young smiled coldly. Were you? Or were you just afraid of competition? Perhaps fear played a role in our decision. And now you want to be friends again. We hope for better relations, yes. Su-Young leaned back in her chair. Friendship requires trust. Trust must be earned. What are you willing to do to earn humanity's trust? The negotiations lasted for hours. By the end, the Corvins had agreed to provide manufacturing facilities for human technology, exclusive trading rights, and formal recognition of human superiority in military affairs. They were not the first species to make such concessions. President Dong Ho Lee was preparing for his return to the Federation capital when intelligence officer Wu Jin-ha delivered his final report. Every major species wants to align with us now, he said. The demonstration of our military capabilities changed everything. What about the species that voted for our banishment? Terrified. They're offering massive concessions just to avoid retaliation. And our allies from the exile years, stronger than ever. They've seen that loyalty to humanity pays off. Dong-ho nodded. The plan had worked perfectly. Exile had freed humanity from Federation restrictions. The war had demonstrated human superiority. Now came the final phase, as human ships escorted him back to Federation space. Dong-ho reflected on the irony. 3 years ago, the aliens had voted humanity out because they feared human unpredictability and aggression. They had been right to be afraid. But exile had not made humans go away. It had made them stronger, much stronger. 3 years had passed since humanity was banished from the Galactic Federation. The galaxy enjoyed what many called a golden age. Trade was peaceful. Border disputes were rare. The Council congratulated itself daily for removing the human problem. But Scout Commander In-ho Bay was building something in the darkness between stars. His small ship, the Ghost Wind, drifted silently through an unexplored system. The star charts showed nothing here. No planets worth colonizing, no resources worth mining, no reason for anyone to visit. Perfect. Commander, his pilot said quietly, we're receiving the signal from Colony Base 7. In-ho smiled. Colony Base 7 was supposed to be a small research outpost with 50 people. In reality, it housed 3,000 humans and was producing enough food to feed 10 times that number. How many colonies are operational now? He asked. 43 confirmed, sir. Another 12 under construction. 43 secret colonies. The Federation thought humanity was confined to Earth and a few nearby systems. They had no idea that humans were spreading across the galaxy faster than ever before. On Earth, scientist Yejin Ko was having the best day of her career. The breakthrough had come at 3 in the morning, as breakthroughs often did. It works, she whispered to herself, staring at the test results. It actually works. She had combined human metallurgy with stolen Federation quantum science. The result was a new type of hull armor that could absorb energy weapons and redirect the power to the ship's engines. The more you shot at it, the faster it got. Dr. Ko? Her assistant called from across the lab. The Admiral wants to see the test results immediately. Yejin gathered her data. This discovery would change everything. Human ships had always been weaker than Federation vessels. Not anymore. Admiral Kyungmin Lim received the report while standing in the secret shipyard hidden inside Saturn's rings. Around him, massive construction robots were building something the galaxy had never seen. The new warships looked nothing like Federation designs. They were sleeker, deadlier, and incorporated technologies that shouldn't exist. Human engineers had taken alien science and made it better. How many ships will be ready for the first deployment? He asked his chief engineer. 200, Admiral. All equipped with the new armor and weapon systems. And they're completely invisible to Federation sensors? Yes, sir. Our stealth technology is 50 years ahead of anything they have. Kyung-min nodded. The Federation's spy networks had no idea these ships existed. By the time they detected them, it would be too late. Meanwhile, Intelligence Officer Woo Jin-ha was having dinner on the alien world of Proxima Beta. To everyone around him, he looked like a wealthy Alteron businessman. Advanced surgery and genetic modification had made the disguise perfect, but Woo Jin was human, and he was gathering information. The defense grid around this system is impressive, he said to his dinner companion, a local military officer. 24 satellites, each armed with quantum torpedoes, the officer bragged. No enemy could possibly break through. Woo Jin smiled and nodded. He made a mental note. 24 satellites, quantum torpedoes, probably controlled from the command station, on the third moon. Useful information. He had been infiltrating Federation worlds for 2 years now. The aliens never suspected that humans could change their appearance so completely. Their security was designed to stop alien spies, not human ones. Diplomat Yu Na. Moon was having a different kind of conversation on a different world. She sat across from Ambassador Crix of the Hegemony, a species that had always felt underrepresented in Federation politics. Your people deserve better, she told him. The Federation treats you like servants, not equals. Crix's tentacles writhed with emotion. Yes, but what choice do we have? We are too small to stand alone. Not if you had allies. Powerful allies. The humans were banished. Exactly. Which means we're free to make our own deals now. Yuna slid a datapad across the table. It contained technical specifications for advanced medical equipment, technology that could extend hegemony lifespans by 50%. This is just the beginning, she said. Humanity remembers its friends. Crix stared at the data, his eyes wide. This technology is beyond anything the Federation has shared with us. The Federation hoards knowledge. We share it. By the end of the meeting, the hegemony had agreed to a secret alliance with humanity. They were not the first species to make such a deal. Back on Earth, President Dong-Ho Lee was reviewing progress reports. The transformation had been incredible. Cut off. From alien technology, humanity had been forced to innovate. The results were better than anyone had hoped. Food production is up 30%, reported his agriculture minister. The new farming techniques are incredibly efficient. Military production? All targets exceeded. We're building ships faster than we can train crews. Scientific research? Multiple breakthroughs daily. Our scientists are solving problems the Federation considered impossible. Dong-Ho smiled. Banishment had been the best thing that ever happened to humanity. In the Federation capital, Council Speaker Valdris was having a much less pleasant day. Reports were coming in of strange activities in the Outer Rim. Ships that didn't match any known designs. Trading posts that appeared overnight. Diplomatic contacts with species that should have no reason to rebel. Could it be the humans? Asked the Vasari representative. Impossible, Valdris replied. Our surveillance shows they're still confined to their home system. Their fleet is pathetically small. Then who? Pirates, probably. Or maybe some species is trying to copy human tactics. The Federation had reduced military patrols after banishing humanity. Why waste resources watching for threats that no longer existed? Scout. Commander Inho was taking advantage of that reduced security. His ship approached another unexplored system, the 44th site for a human colony. Perfect location, his pilot reported. Rich in rare metals, 3 habitable planets, no alien presence within 50 light years. Begin surveying operations. I want colony ships here within 6 months. Inho had mapped dozens of systems the Federation didn't even know existed. While aliens followed established space lanes, humans explored the gaps between them. The galaxy was much larger than the Federation realized. Dr. Yejin Ko was working on her next breakthrough when the alarm sounded. Not a danger alarm, an excitement alarm. Someone else had made a discovery. She rushed to Lab 7, where engineer Minho Park was staring at a device that shouldn't exist. What is it? She asked. Faster than light communication without quantum entanglement, he said, his voice filled with wonder. We can send messages instantly across any distance. Yejin understood the implications immediately. The Federation used quantum networks for communication, but they were expensive and limited. This human innovation could connect every colony, every ship, every outpost in real time. How did you figure it out? I combined human physics with those Zephyrian equations we stole 3 years ago. Then I added something the aliens never thought of. Biological computing elements. Humanity was not just copying alien technology anymore. They were surpassing it. Admiral Kyung-min received news of the communication breakthrough while inspecting his latest ships. The vessels were works of art, sleek, powerful, and completely invisible to Federation sensors. With instant communication, we can coordinate attacks across the entire galaxy, his tactical officer noted. Who said anything about attacks? Kyung-min replied with a smile. But privately he was already planning. The Federation had made humanity an enemy. Soon, they would learn what human enemies could do. Intelligence Officer Wu Jin-ha was now operating on 12 different worlds. His network of human spies had infiltrated every major Federation system. They knew alien military capabilities, political weaknesses, and economic vulnerabilities. More importantly, they were recruiting allies. Species after species was growing tired of Federation control. The promise of human technology and friendship was irresistible. Secret agreements were signed, hidden weapons caches were established, rebellion was spreading. The Federation thought they had eliminated the human threat by banishing them. Instead, they had created something far worse, free humans with nothing to lose and everything to prove. As the third anniversary of banishment approached, humanity was ready for the next phase of their plan. They had colonies throughout the galaxy. They had technology superior to Federation science. They had allies among alien species. They had intelligence networks on every major world. Most importantly, they had learned something the Federation never suspected. Exile had not weakened humanity, it had freed them. Captain Teho Kang watched his ship's sensors carefully. The exploration vessel New Sol was supposed to be heading home like all other human ships. That's what his official flight plan said. That's what the aliens monitoring him believed. But Teho had different orders. "Sir," said his navigation officer, "we're approaching the Kepler system. Should I set course for Earth?" "Not yet," Teho replied quietly. "Take us through the asteroid belt first. I want to run some maintenance checks." The officer nodded. He understood. Everyone on the ship understood. They weren't really going home. They were gathering intelligence. For the past 2 weeks, Teho had been mapping every Federation defense station, every patrol route, every weakness in their security. His ship looked like it was retreating, but it was actually doing the most important mission in human history. Meanwhile, Dr. Sora Nam was working frantically in her laboratory on Station Omega 7. The research facility was officially shutting down in 3 days. All human personnel were supposed to pack up and leave. But Sora wasn't packing. She was downloading. "How much data have we copied?" she asked her assistant. 47% of the medical database. 32% of their engineering files. The quantum physics research is taking longer. "We need everything," Sora said. "Every equation, every formula, every experimental result. When we leave Federation space, this knowledge leaves with us." Her fingers flew across the keyboard. Years of alien research disappeared into hidden memory cores. The Federation would never know it was gone until it was too late. Admiral Jinsu Yoon had a different job. His fleet of cargo ships was moving slowly toward Earth, carrying civilian evacuees from human colonies. At least that's what the manifests said. In reality, half the ships were carrying something else entirely. "Admiral," his communications officer, reported, "the supply drop at coordinate 77 Alpha is complete." "Good. How many more stops?" 15, sir. All in neutral systems outside Federation control." Jinsu nodded. These supply caches would be invisible to alien sensors. Food, fuel, weapons, and equipment hidden in dead space, waiting for the day humanity needed them. The aliens thought they were watching humans pack up and leave. They had no idea humans were preparing for war. On Earth, engineer Heiwan Jiang hadn't slept in 4 days. Her team was working around the clock in underground facilities beneath the Gobi Desert. Captured alien technology covered every table in the lab. "Try increasing the power flow to the quantum matrix," she told her assistant. The alien device hummed to life. For a moment, it worked perfectly. Then it exploded in a shower of sparks. "That's the 15th one today," her assistant complained. "Then, we build a 16th, Heiwan replied. "And a 17th if necessary. We will figure out how their technology works." She picked up another piece of alien equipment. It was a force field generator, taken from a damaged Federation ship 3 years ago. Human scientists had been studying it ever since, but without access to Federation databases, progress was slow. Now they had 30 days to crack technologies that had taken alien civilizations centuries to develop. Trader Bo-Ram Seo was having a much easier time. While military ships and research stations made obvious targets for alien surveillance, nobody paid attention to one small merchant vessel. Her ship, the Lucky Dragon, was officially carrying medical supplies to human colonies. But Bo-Ram had made several unauthorized stops along the way. "The Corvin system accepts our offer," she told her crew. "They'll let us establish a trading post in exchange for medical technology." "What about the Nexari?" "They're interested too. Turns out a lot of species aren't happy with Federation trade policies. They want alternatives." Boram smiled. The Federation controlled most galactic trade through taxes and regulations, but there were always species looking for better deals. Humanity was about to become their new best friend. Back in Federation space, the aliens were getting impatient. Human ships were leaving, but slowly. Too slowly. "Why are they taking so long?" demanded the Visari representative. "Human bureaucracy," replied the Alteron delegate. "Their paperwork is probably complicated. They have 12 more days. Then we start shooting." Agreed. No extensions, no excuses. What the aliens didn't know was that every extra day gave humanity more time to prepare. Every hour was precious. Captain Tae-ho had finished mapping the outer defense perimeter. His ship was now approaching the core Federation systems where the most important military bases were located. "Sir, we're being hailed by Federation control," his communications officer reported. "Put them through." An alien voice filled the bridge. "Human vessel New Soul, you are off your approved flight path. Explain." "Navigation error," Tae-ho replied calmly. "Solar flare damaged our guidance systems. We're correcting course now." "Very well, proceed to Earth immediately. No further deviations will be tolerated." "Understood." New Soul out. Tae-ho turned to his crew. They had gotten the readings they needed. The Federation's most secure military base had vulnerabilities that could be exploited. Dr. So-ra was running out of time. The Federation had started installing new security protocols, making it harder to access their databases. "The quantum physics files are encrypted now," her assistant reported. "Can you break the encryption?" "Maybe, but it'll take days." "We don't have days. Try anyway." So-ra continued her work. Even if she couldn't get everything, what she had already stolen would give humanity a massive advantage. Medical knowledge that could save millions of lives. Engineering data that could revolutionize space travel. Weapon designs that could level the playing field. The aliens thought they were punishing humanity by cutting off access to their technology. Instead, they had given humanity a reason to steal everything they could carry. Admiral Jin-soo was making his final supply drop when his sensors detected something unusual. 3 Federation patrol ships were approaching fast. "Admiral, they're hailing us," his communications officer said. "Standard inspection," Jin-soo ordered his crew. "Stay calm." The alien captain appeared on the screen. "Human vessel, prepare for cargo inspection." Of course, we have nothing to hide. The aliens boarded and searched the ship thoroughly. They found exactly what they expected: civilian evacuees, medical supplies, and personal belongings. They never thought to look for the microscopic data storage devices hidden inside the refugees' clothing. Each person carried the equivalent of an entire library worth of information. The inspection ended. The aliens left, satisfied that humans were following the rules. Engineer Haiwan finally had a breakthrough. The alien force field generator was working, and this time it didn't explode. "How did you do it?" her assistant asked. "I stopped trying to copy their design exactly. Instead, I figured out what it's supposed to do, then built it the human way. It was a revolutionary idea. Instead of simply copying alien technology, humans could improve on it. Make it better, stronger, more efficient." The Federation had just handed humanity the keys to technological superiority. Trader Boram was now operating 3 illegal trading posts in neutral space. Dozens of species were eager to do business with humans, especially now that they were banned from Federation space. "The black market loves rebels," she told her crew. "And we're about to become the galaxy's favorite rebels." As the 30-day deadline approached, it looked like humanity was quietly accepting defeat. Human ships were leaving Federation space. Colonies were being evacuated. Earth's ambassador had already departed. But in reality, humanity had accomplished something incredible. They had turned their banishment into the greatest intelligence operation in galactic history. The aliens had no idea what was coming next. Hyunwoo Kim stood in the middle of the giant space station. His hands were shaking. The voices of 47 different alien species filled the air around him. Each voice sounded angry. Each voice wanted the same thing. They wanted Earth gone. The holographic screen in front of him showed numbers that made his heart sink. 34 votes for banishment, 12 votes against. One species chose not to vote at all. It was over. Humanity would be kicked out of the Galactic Federation. "The motion passes," announced the council speaker. The tall, blue-skinned alien's voice echoed through the chamber. "Earth and all human colonies must leave Federation space within 30 standard days." Hyunwoo closed his eyes. 20 years. He had worked as Earth's ambassador. 20 years of trying to make friends with alien species. 20 years of proving that humans could be trusted. All of it was now worthless. "Ambassador Kim," the speaker continued, "do you have any final words before this session ends?" Hyunwoo opened his eyes. He looked at the creatures around him. Some had scales. Others had fur. Many had more than 2 arms. All of them were staring at him with satisfaction. They thought they had won. "Yes," Hyunwoo said. His voice was calm, but inside he felt like screaming. "I want to know why." A reptilian creature from the Vasari Empire stood up. "Humans are too aggressive. You expand too fast. You take too many resources. You cannot be controlled." We followed. "All Federation laws," Hyunwoo replied. "Laws, yes," hissed another alien. "But your people think differently. You solve problems with violence first, talk second." "That's not true," Hyunwoo said. "The Kepler incident," someone shouted from the back. "Human ships attacked first, asked questions later." "Those were pirates, not Federation military," Hyunwoo protested. "Human pirates," the reptilian said. "Your species cannot help itself. You are too dangerous to remain in civilized space." Hyunwoo wanted to argue more. He wanted to list all the good things humans had done, the medical discoveries they had shared, the planets they had helped terraform, the trade routes they had protected. But he could see it was useless. These aliens had already made up their minds. Back on Earth, Fleet Admiral Soo-Jin Park was in her office when the emergency message arrived. She read it 3 times before the words made sense. Banishment. 30 days. Complete withdrawal. She pressed a button on her desk. "Get me the president immediately." While she waited, Soo-Jin stared out the window at the Pacific Ocean. Earth's blue waters looked so peaceful. Soon they would be cut off from the galaxy. No alien technology, no trade agreements, no protection from hostile species. Her screen flickered. President Dong-Ho Lee appeared, looking tired. He was in his pajamas. It was 3 in the morning, in Seoul. "Admiral Park," he said, "please tell me this message is some kind of mistake." "I'm afraid not, sir. The Galactic Council voted us out. We have 30 days to withdraw all human forces from Federation space." Dong-Ho rubbed his face with both hands. "How many ships do we have out there?" 237 vessels, 15 colonies, about 500,000 civilians in Federation space. Can we move everyone in 30 days? If we start immediately. Yes, but Mr. President, there's something else. Chief Science Officer Mi-young Choi wants to speak with you urgently. 5 minutes later, Mi-young joined their conversation. The elderly scientist looked worried. She had spent her entire career working with alien technology. "Mr. President," she said, "losing access to Federation tech will set us back 50 years, maybe more. Our medical equipment, our faster-than-light engines, our terraforming systems, they all depend on alien science. Can we reverse engineer what we have?" Dong-Ho asked. "Some of it, given enough time. But without access to Federation databases and research facilities, we'll be working blind." Soo-Jin leaned forward. "There might be another way." Both the president and Mi-young looked at her. "We use these 30 days wisely. We gather everything we can, every piece of technology, every bit of information, every strategic advantage." "That sounds like espionage," Dong-Ho said carefully. "It sounds like survival," Soo-Jin replied. Meanwhile, in the Galactic Council chamber, the aliens were celebrating. The Vasari representative was shaking hands with the Altoran delegate. The Zephyrians were already discussing how to divide up human trade routes. "Finally," said the council speaker, "we can have true peace in the galaxy. No more human unpredictability," agreed another alien. "No more aggressive expansion," added a third. They were so busy congratulating themselves that none of them noticed the small recording device Hyunwoo had left behind. It was no bigger than a grain of rice, and it was transmitting everything back to Earth. Hyunwoo himself was walking to his ship. His head was high, his back straight. He had been humiliated today, but he would not show weakness in front of these aliens. As he reached the docking bay, he turned back one last time. The massive space station stretched out in all directions. It represented everything humans had worked toward: membership in a galactic community, friendship between species, a peaceful future among the stars. Now it was all gone. But as Hyunwoo climbed into his ship, he smiled for the first time in hours. The aliens thought they were getting rid of a problem. They thought banishing humanity would make them safe. They had no idea what they had just unleashed. His final transmission to Earth was short. "They think banishing us will make us disappear. They're about to learn how wrong they are." On Earth, President Dongho was addressing the world. Billions of humans watched their leader explain what had happened. Some cried, some got angry, some demanded immediate war against the aliens. But in secret military facilities around the planet, a different kind of preparation was beginning. Scientists and engineers worked through the night. Soldiers received new orders, spy networks activated. The aliens wanted humanity gone? Fine. Humanity would leave Federation space, but they would not go quietly, and they would not stay gone forever. In 30 days, the galaxy would see what humans could really do when they had nothing left to lose.